Success in Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
And welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. It's Kerry, Lutz, and before you know it, election season, the season of absurdity will be upon us, and we'll try to get a jump start on it. We've got Alex Meluskey with us. He's going to be primarying in Arizona. I just got back from Arizona, coincidentally enough, having spent the holiday weekend there. He's going to be primarying against none other than John McCain, long-time senator there, former candidate for president, didn't do too well against the current occupant of the White House. And we're pleased to have him on. Probably not familiar with him at this point, but I'm sure you'll be familiar with him in the weeks ahead. Alex, welcome to the show.
Kerry, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate the time here.
Yeah, well, hey, we always like to have new blood on the show, people with new ideas, people who really are concerned about you and the country and want to turn things around and want to get rid of the status quo. And really, that's what you're about, isn't it?
Well, getting rid of the status quo of, I guess, blockades or non-movement or not following the Constitution. That's probably more what I'm about. I would think a lot of your listeners may be like me, people that were feeling somewhat resigned, or maybe they do feel resigned to the fact that things can't get fixed, but they need to be fixed. And that's the reason why I'm running. I was one of those people that would listen to the radio, watch television, and say, what is going on? Why aren't they doing anything? Why isn't anybody standing up? Why isn't anybody following the Constitution? I mean, you can look at anything from taxation all the way through to our First Amendment rights, our gun rights. They're just being ignored or abused, and it's not acceptable. And we shouldn't stand for that. We shouldn't accept that as the status quo. We should make a difference because that's what our founders wanted. They wanted citizen legislators, and that's exactly what the people of Arizona and this country will get with me. I'm just a printer like Benjamin Franklin who wants to go make a difference in this world, in this country.
Well, that's very noble. It's great to hear. And we need something to be done here because it really appears that the country is on the road to decline. Like you said, the Constitution being ignored, ruling by executive fiat. The Congress ignores the Constitution. Look, 3/4 of the programs out there really are not authorized. They're nowhere to be found in the Constitution, the 4 corners of the Constitution. And if these programs are so great, let's amend the Constitution and then the Constitution will allow it. But instead, we just go along our merry way, and the Constitution really doesn't seem to matter anymore, does it?
It should, though, and it does. It's the law of the land. So follow it or elect people that will. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, and really, so you must have some goals. You must have some aspirations in running for Senate. You're not just running against somebody, you're running for something, aren't you?
Well, I'm running for my family. I'm running for the people. It's so much not about me. And it does seem that way in D.C. that people are running for their bank accounts. You see a lot of people get extremely wealthy when they end up in office. I guess maybe they've had special contacts with lobbyists or special interest groups. I have no interest in that. Not the special interest groups, not the lobbyists. I would love to be in a world where there were a lot less lobbyists. And I'm not going to make a lot of friends, I believe, there on K Street in that sense of the word. But I'm not looking to make friends there. I'll be civil. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm going to be the nasty guy. But I'm looking to represent the people. I have 6.4 million people that live here in the state of Arizona, and they are not represented. So I'm getting around the state. I'm starting to make my way around the state, and our plans are to get out and reach everybody and reach everyone, not to talk to, but to listen, to actually listen, to formulate real plans that many of our elected officials don't seem to have. I mean, there are people, I will not name names, but they've been in office for years. And they have absolutely no tax plan. Are they trying to say that, or they don't co-sponsor any kind of a bill in Congress or the Senate for in the House for tax reform, but they can't accept our current tax platform as something that's a success. And that's just one thing.
You think it's time to get rid of the IRS?
Oh, I absolutely do. I mean, it's no secret. I'm not the one who's going to sugarcoat my tax reform plans. I am the state director here in Arizona for the fair tax, which is a bill before the House of Representatives, Senate. It's HR 25 in the House and it's S 155 in the Senate, and it's a consumption-based tax. Repeals the 16th and eliminates our current income tax code, which is a burden to everybody, and it's a abomination. And we replace it with a simple consumption-based tax in which every United States citizen is better off. I mean, it's. I hate to talk about it like it's a cure-all snake oil or whatever, but it really is. It's a help in so many different areas of our country that it would help in so many different ways: in jobs, simplicity, lobbyists, getting rid of some of them, just shrinking the size of government. I'm one of those guys. I do not believe in big government, and I'm more conservative. I'm very conservative in a fiscal way. I guess I'd put myself along the lines of a Reagan or a Lincoln type Republican.
So you're not. So you mean to tell me here that Alex, that April 15th isn't your favorite day of the year?
Absolutely not. And I have my own radio show, which I've been hosting for about a year and a half, 2 years on an Arizona radio station here on the fair tax and tax reform and the IRS. No, the April 15th is probably one of my least favorite days, and I have
joined the club.
Yeah, it's
you gotta hate it.
Almost a $500 billion business compliance cost and taxation. So not my favorite day at all.
And if you're not GE and you can't afford skyscrapers full of lawyers and accountants, boy, you take it on the chin, don't you?
You absolutely do. And am I allowed to expand on this a little bit when it comes to these corporations and the loopholes that they all have? People wonder why some of my friends, bankers and everything, say, I wonder why can't big corporations get behind real tax reform? Because the simple answer is because they have tax code written just for them. So even though they would be better off under, say, a consumption-based tax, they would get rid of a lot of compliance costs and be able to bring a lot of that offshore money in. The little guy, the smaller business who doesn't have all those lawyers, who doesn't have that specialized tax code written just for them, they can't take advantage of it, so that keeps them at a disadvantage over the big boys. So the big boys would rather make less, but make sure they keep their feet on the little guy down, so they can't take advantage of it. So that's one reason why you have to get rid of it, because it's not a free market when one person has an advantage over another one. It's just not the American way.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's basically the government picking winners and losers, which is never what the founding fathers intended, let's face it. So what about our lovely Department of Injustice? Any thoughts there?
Department of Justice, to shrink a lot of departments or get rid of a lot of them. Department of Education is one that gets in my way a little bit. If you have anything specific, please. I mean, I expand more on taxation because that's an area that I've studied quite a bit, but
the EPA, they're doing a bang-up job, aren't they?
They're doing an outstanding job. No, they're not. I'm not even going to, I don't want to soundbite being pulled out of that. I mean, just for example, that's one that just made me just shake my head, because with the Keystone Pipeline, let's be honest, people, if they're worried about, the Environmental Protection Agency is worried about us taking care of our lands, well, then why don't you leave that oil in our hands and let us take care of it? Because the bottom line is, if we don't take care of it, then somebody else is going to take care of it. And it's just going to travel a further distance to get refined, to get sent back, to get moved all over the world. I mean, right now, and I'm not positive about this, but what I had heard is some of those Warren Buffett owned maybe corn syrup train cars were getting filled with the oil, and there were spills.
Well, even Warren Buffett is in favor of the Keystone Pipeline, interestingly enough, and it's directly against his own economic interest, but he's in favor of it. So who knows, maybe he owns some of the land that they're going to build the pipeline on. I don't know, but he came out in favor of it. So,
Kerry, don't you think that we should be in control of the oil versus giving it away to somebody else? And it just, for monetary reasons, for control reasons, for power reasons of being not having to rely on others,
the country
to be able to control for so many reasons. I do not see why.
No, there's no reason not to build it. No, the country's been building pipelines for over 100 years. We seem to be able to do it until this administration. We never had a problem building pipelines. It's never been a problem. And to think that for some reason now it's a problem is absurd. And basically a majority in Congress don't seem to have an issue with it, but obviously not enough to overcome the veto. And the second that this guy is out of office, it will go through. I mean, there's no question about that. So
yeah, I fully believe.
Yeah. There's
and I would like to be there to vote the right way for people.
Yeah, there's no grounds for not having it. I mean, it just isn't. But, the powers that be, this is what happens. And, hey, there's no justification not to have it. So what else are we needing here, Alex? What other vision do you have for the country?
Well, I mean, vision, I guess it's more of just simplification and clarification.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's many things that we need to take care of. I mean, of course, we need tax reform. I know a lot of my people in my state have been concerned about Common Core. I believe the states can handle their own education systems just fine without the government jumping around and saying, hey, no, you fit this little block. No, this country's huge and we're all different. I know teachers that say that Common Core doesn't really work in my classroom when I'm, teaching on a reservation. My students start the day with dance. It's not part of their culture. Some of this Common Core stuff that's going about. No, it's just, states should be able to control a lot more. The government just never, like you said, was never intended to be as large as it is. They were, protect us from those who would do us harm domestically and abroad, and then punish those that would do so. A little bit of commerce, a little bit of, printing of money. Well, printing of money with something to back it, preferably, versus just printing it like monopoly money. There's a lot of things that we need to do, but I believe that people are starving for people that will stand up for their rights, people that will actually stand on principle, people that will have a plan and stick to it and not be wishy-washy. As I kind of joke, I played a little bit of football. I may not have been the best player, but I'm a pretty big guy. I'm not easy to move. So your word has to mean something. And I just feel that there's not enough people out there that are representing us in a way that would make us proud to say, hey, I'd like that guy as my friend. I'd like that guy as my champion. And that's what I want to be here in Arizona. And we do have a big road to climb. We're going to have to get support. And we have some unique ways in how we're trying to do that, to gather support here in the, from around the country and here in the state, because there are people that are, they're terrified of John McCain in the state.
Uh-huh.
They think he's, they think he has large talons that'll come out and harm them and harm their businesses. So we're going around the state. We're going outside of the state to get our support. Yeah.
And you personally know John McCain? Ever met him?
No, I've never met the man. So I don't, first of all, it's not my style to bash anybody either. Mm-hmm. I am thankful for his service to our country, and he deserves respect for that. It's when it comes to me and John McCain, it's just a matter of the center. It's just a matter of it's just time for him to retire so we can get new representation.
It's time to move on. New blood.
When he finishes his term, he'll have been 30 years as a U.S. Senator. I believe as another 4 as a member of the House of Representatives in Congress. So that'll be 34 years of service. He'll be 80 years old. And age isn't my issue. My issue is time served, doing this. You need new blood. You absolutely need new blood. And I'm someone who personally believes in term limits, for myself. And I would be somebody who would not be spending a lot of time there. I'm 47. I'd be getting out at 60. Mm-hmm. That would be my goal. And getting somebody else, supporting somebody else who would be along the same board, a good conservative who would represent the people the way they need to be represented.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, look, we just had Reid. He announced that he's not going to run for whatever reason, and you can speculate, let's face it. But why not get rid of all those guys who've been there for more than 10 years? Maybe this should be the year that all of them go, right? What would be wrong with that?
Well, Personally, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Now, I'm sure there's some good people that are in there that are getting a lot done still, but yeah, how long do you have to have a career there? It's not supposed to be a career. It's not supposed to be a nobility. It's not supposed to be a power structure tier, I guess, or however you want to put it, pyramid.
Yeah.
We just simply put, we are not being represented. And I would encourage anybody that is liking anything that I'm saying here to please go to our website and join on. My name's pretty simple to spell. It's MELUSKEY. MELUSKEY, and the US conveniently is right in the middle of the name, so it makes it nice for the logo. But we're asking people to join us as we move on, and we're doing it in a little bit of a unique way. You know how I mentioned that I'm not looking for the special interest groups, the big corporations to try to influence me. I want the people to influence me, because that's what it's about. It's we, the people. We created something called 2016, which is a $20.16 a month commitment. People can sign on, automated payments, $20.16 a month. And why that's so valuable is because most people can afford that. It's not too much that it's usually a strain on someone's budget, but if it does become a strain on a budget due to whatever reasons, they can stop payments, because we would not want to do that to anybody. You never worry with rent money. No way. Or if for some reason they say, hey, this candidate, Alex Meluskey, I don't like what he just did. Nope, I'm pulling back. You're in control. You have skin in the game, because we all have skin in the game.
Sure.
So I would encourage people to check out the website.
Alex, how's your family feel about your decision to run?
They're fully behind it. They are fully behind it. My wife was the one that had to, I guess, have the most, processing because of the age of our children. She wanted to make sure it was the timing was right, and we understood. My son just turned 18. He's going off to college. My daughter is about to turn 16. So if you know teenage daughters at 16,
yeah,
I'm fairly certain she knows that I exist, but I'm not 100% positive. So
sometimes you got to wonder.
I know you got to wonder. Oh, she's lovely. I adore that young lady. But no, at that age, come on. I mean, Dad's not the funnest guy as he was when he was able to swing you around when you were 2 and 3. But no, they're both awesome children. But my wife is fully behind it. My family is excited about it. They know what kind of a person I am. I usually don't like to talk about the kind of person I am, but as far as my moral values or how I stand on principle, this country means too much to me, and I am blessed to be in such a position where I can represent and stand up for the people that, after standing on the shoulders of my ancestors, if I did not take this step, it would be an insult to them for all that they've done for me to put me in this position. So we're probably going to run out of time, but I have many, many family stories which would, lead me to explain why this is a natural course for me.
Yeah, well, I think that's admirable. And having run for office myself, I think it's only right that at some point you got to give something back to someone, do something for someone other than yourself, because it is only fair. It is the right way to do things. And it's the way that we've always done things in the United States, right?
I would like to think so. And that's the way my father always told me, if you ever borrow anything from anyone, return it in as good condition or better. And this country is not in better condition than when I inherited as a child, at least not in my vision. So I'm going to do my part to get it back, to return it and hand it off to my children in better shape than when I received it. Yeah,
and I feel kind of embarrassed about that myself. I got to tell you, feel like the baby boomers so self-indulgent, so self-absorbed and narcissistic, and look what we're leaving for our children here, right?
Well, I don't know if I'd put the blame on any one generation as per se. Sometimes, there's so many little butterfly effects that can throw into the equation. I mean, you want to go backwards, you can start and blame Woodrow Wilson's generation back in 1913 when they threw on our income tax, our IRS and our income tax code, which is now 74,000 pages. that puts a lot of burden onto creation of business. I mean, I go back to taxation, I know, and I keep talking about the fair tax and a consumption-based tax, fixing those things, but we have so little manufacturing compared to the way that we used to that the American dream is gone from there. So in the 50s, when you could have one family member working and they would have enough, or when you didn't have to go to college and create all that debt. You could just be a really smart guy or gal and get to work for a manufacturing company and make almost as much as a white-collar job, doing a blue-collar job. Those jobs aren't here anymore. We do not have those manufacturing jobs, and don't let anybody try to tell you that they're all gone because of computers and technology. Not all of them, some of them, yeah, but we have such an infrastructure here in this great country of ours that if we had a 0% corporate tax rate, we could bring back 10 million jobs in the first year and tons of money. It's just simply put. I mean, you well know that corporations really don't pay taxes.
Of course not.
It gets put into the product.
It's the individuals pay taxes, not corporations.
No, they don't. Even if they say corporate tax rate, well, the corporations just pass it on and they have to deal with all that compliance. And well, we know how it is. It just doesn't make sense for them to create the product here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's so much bad policy that has taken place in this country that's driven industry out. And we see it over and over and over again. And it's taking place to this day. Tax policy, like you said, which just compounds the problem. Not the sole problem, but of course, it's largely responsible for keeping profits out of the country, right?
Absolutely. They're sitting offshore. There's lots of money just waiting to come back. I mean, millions, billions. And I would like to say, you shouldn't feel bad. And like I said, you shouldn't, and especially not you, because you're not resigned to the fact that something can't be done. You're having guests like me on your show. You're having people like me come around, and you're not sitting back. You're actually doing something. You are making a difference. So I thank you. So please don't say that about
the generation.
Don't blame it all on the generation. Also, I mean,
the generation
we all have responsibility,
right? Generation in general. I'm talking about is really what I'm referring to.
I understand,
and it's sad to see that it's so narcissistic, but hey, we can only do what we can do, Alex, and you're doing something, and I think it's meaningful. I wish you the best of luck. You have to tell us again how to support you, how to connect with you on the internet, your site, all of that. Okay?
That is MELUSKEY, MELUSKEY.com. Encourage you to go there, learn more about me, and reach out to us. Really, really could use your support. And Kerry, thank you once again for having me on.
All right. And thank you so much for coming on the show, Alex. We wish you the best of luck. And change is never easy, especially when you're going up against the status quo, the orthodoxy. But if nobody ever tried, if you never tried to make change, never tried to change, you never fought for what you believed in, we'd still be speaking English with funny accents, and we'd be driving on the left side of the road. So just keep that in mind, right? And
Amen.
Hey, don't forget, you find the link to Alex's sites on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. While you're there, take a look, sign up on the mailing list for our free webinars coming up. Alex, wish you the best of luck, and hey, keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.